Honourable members, Standing Order 24 allows a minister to make a statement on some public matter for which the government is responsible for. Honourable Prime Minister will now make his statement in relation to the Prime Minister's housing rental arrangement. Honourable Prime Minister, you have the floor, sir.
I thank you for giving me the opportunity, understanding Order 24, to set the record straight with regards to the rent and rental arrangements for the official residence, the Prime Minister that I currently occupy at Tasai. Mr. Speaker, I am both appalled and extremely disappointed that the leader of opposition and member for Auckland saw it fit to issue a press statement yesterday from his office to purposely spread disinformation about the rent and rental arrangements in the official residence of the Prime Minister I currently occupy at Tasai. Because of the disinformation, Mr. Speaker, which is defined in the dictionary as the deliberate use of lies to manipulate people, whether to extract profit or to advance a political agenda, I am obliged to make a statement on the floor of this Parliament to inform the public about the truth of the rental of the current official residence of the Prime Minister of Solomon Islands. Mr. Speaker, Solomon Islands is the second largest country in the Pacific by landmass and the third largest by population. Yet, we currently do not have an official state residence or residences for the heads of the three arms of government: the executive, which is the Prime Minister, the legislature, which is the Speaker, and the judiciary, which is the Chief Justice. So, as you know, Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and many Pacific countries that are much smaller than Solomon Islands have official state residences for their prime ministers and presidents. In these countries, prime ministers move into the designated office state residences after their elections. So, not so in Solomon Islands, where prime ministers are expected to look for their own accommodation. These put Solomon Islands, the second largest country in the Pacific, in very poor light by comparison, in particular with our small neighbors. So the time has come for this Honourable House to set the record straight and accept the fact that as a country, we have not given due recognition to the simple fact that from the moment a new Prime Minister is elected and is sworn into office, the state becomes responsible for the security, accommodation, and other arrangements relating to the Prime Minister. All members of this Honourable House, several being former Prime Ministers, will know that apart from the Governor-General, only the Prime Minister is accorded a 24 state-funded security arrangements. All members and the public need to know also that the residence of the Prime Minister must comply with minimum security requirements as determined by the Royal Solomon Police Force Close Protection Personnel, CPP, that look after the security of the Prime Minister, whether me or any other Prime Minister at that time. In this regard, and for the information of the Leader of Opposition, my private residence that was stated in his press statement was assessed by the Close Protection Unit, and it does not comply with the minimum security requirements for the Prime Minister. The residence does not comply with the minimum expectations of the functionality of an official residence for a Prime Minister, which is that it must be a place that can receive guests or visitors. Mr. Speaker, it is important for the Leader of Opposition and members of this Honourable House to know that from the day I was sworn in as Prime Minister of Solomon Islands, I was accommodated first at the Coral Seas Hotel, then I was moved to the Heritage Park Hotel, as the minimum state requirements for the accommodation and security of the Prime Minister were not met by my private residence. While I was in the hotel, the Office of the Prime Minister and the CPP unit of the RISIPF searched for rental accommodation in Honiara that would meet the two basic requirements of security and functionality to receive high-level guests or visitors. They identified and inspected several accommodation, of which one met the functionality requirement, but not the security requirement, also at Tasaha. The rental for this property was more than $75,000 per month. Mr. Speaker, this is the going rate on rental for executive houses in Honiara. The residence I'm currently in is the only one that the CPP team found to comply with both the security and functionality requirements, and with a negotiated rental of $45,000 net per month, which increased to $48,900 per month when the 10% withholding tax is added, is the cheapest for a fully furnished executive residence in the Honiara market right now. Mr. Speaker, let me now respond directly to the disinformation contained in the press release by the Leader of the Opposition. Firstly, the title of the press statement that says the property is owned by a foreigner. Mr. Speaker, let me inform the Leader of Opposition and members of this Honourable House that the residence I currently occupy is owned by a Solomon Island citizen who is married to a Solomon Island citizen and whose family lives in Honiara. The landlord has been living in Honiara for the last 30 years. He attended high school in Honiara, at Betikama, in Honiara High School. Secondly, while the total rent per month is accurate, I pay $20,000 per month or $60,000 per quarter directly from my salary to the landlord. This $20,000 per month is my current entitlement as Member of Parliament, not as Prime Minister. That is paid quarterly with my salary by the Parliament, and I think the same arrangement goes to all Members of Parliament. The rental entitlement is paid quarterly through your salaries. The same applies to me. So the statement is incorrect. So the statement in the contract, as contained in the press release, that the Parliament pays $20,000 per month and $60,000 per quarter refers to the housing allowance that is paid with my salary, which I then pay my share of the $48,900 monthly rental for the residents. This is not a separate payment by Parliament. It is simply the payment of my monthly allowance, which all elected members of Parliament receive as part of their salaries every quarter. This cost-sharing arrangement means that the state pays $28,900 per month for the rental, and I personally pay $20,000 per month out of my salary based on the entitlement of $20,000 per month housing allowance accorded to each member of Parliament under the Parliamentary Entitlement Regulations. Based on the above of the alleged $1,760,400 in rental for 3 years stated in the press release, I will personally meet $720,003.60 from the housing allowance paid together with my salary on a quarterly basis, and the state meets $1,040,396.40 for the 3-year rental period. On an annual basis, I personally pay $240,001.20, and the state pays $346,798.80, totaling $586,800 per annum.